Hello, I'm Marshall Presser from Pivotal Data Engineering, and I'm joined by Kerry James, Vice President of Alliances from BlueTalon, to discuss data protection in a modern analytic data warehouse. At Pivotal, we found that increasingly our customers want to expand the use of predictive analytics in more applications and among more users to improve customer service and experience. But these organizations are also increasingly challenged to balance the conflicting objectives of collecting customer data for analysis and protecting personally identifiable information, PII, from unauthorized usage. For example, data scientists strive to collect as much and as many types of data as they can for as many experiments and applications as possible. Their organizations, in turn, may want to make analytic tools developed by their data scientists available to more classes of employees and perhaps even their business partners. But on the other hand, privacy and compliance officers need to ensure that data collection and usage is limited to specific sanctioned applications consistent both with regulations and acceptable business practices, and also respecting the privacy concerns of their customers. One way administrators of the data warehouse have met this challenge is by the use of database views to limit the information that various classes of users can see. But this almost always leads to many thousands of views in large installations. These are cumbersome to correctly assign to the user to community, to maintain, and to update. That's why Pivotal has teamed up with BlueTalon to provide a much easier and more effective solution to this problem. Kerry, would you like to show us how this is managed with BlueTalon?
Thanks, Marshall. Great to be here. So today, what we're going to do is look at three common issues that confront administrators and users of their modern analytic data warehouse. The first scenario we're going to look at is being able to limit the database super users' view of private and sensitive data. Secondly, we will look at restricting the information that users can see in the data warehouse based upon their roles and attributes. And this will include SQL terms like row-level filtering and column masking. And last, we were actually going to look at how to allow users to join tables on columns to which they have no permission to actually see or use the content, but allow them to produce result sets with the information they need and they have access rights to. So in the following demonstrations, we're going to show you how to use BlueTalon to address these common issues. Additionally, you will see how BlueTalon can make your life easier while setting up your data protection at the same time as making your data safer and easier to use. First, let's see how to use BlueTalon to simplify the protection of private or sensitive data. Let's begin the journey by understanding what life looks like today without any protection. As you can see, we are logged in as GP admin. Now let's see what happens when we execute a basic select star from members table using the super user GP admin without any rules in place. As you would expect, it returns all the raw information in the table, and the super user can see private values such as social security number, date of birth, and credit card number. As we know, we could manage the access to the data using views, but this would mean creating a view in every table that contains personal data or sensitive data for each permutation of users accessing the data. Now, with BlueTalon, we're going to show you how easy we can make your life. Instead of creating a new view in the database, we're going to show you how to use BlueTalon policy to deny access, which is essentially masking the results returned in the query. We have created a policy called Protect Super User Access and added rules to deny access to the credit card, date of birth, and social security number columns. Now to apply these rules to the super user profile, we simply add the super user GP admin to the roles associated with the policy. Now, all that is left is to deploy the changes to the BlueTalon system, and the rules will be enforced on the very next query. Now when we run the same select star from members query again, we will see remarkably different results. As you can see, the values in the social security, date of birth, and credit card fields have been masked with values compliant with the column format. Now that we've seen how easy it is to protect private or sensitive data with BlueTalon policies, let's expand this data protection shield to ensure that users only have access to the data they are authorized to use. This is accomplished in BlueTalon through the use of filters. Filters can be applied at either the column or the table level. In this scenario, we're going to use a table level filter to only return rows that the user is authorized to use. For this scenario, we're going to use Bob, one of our end users, to access the data. First, let's run a count against the members table without any filters, and we can see that there are 500 rows in the table, and Bob has access to all of them. Now let's look at some of the details in this query for just a moment. As you can see, we've applied rules in the private data fields for Social Security number and credit card. However, instead of simply denying access to the Social Security number, as we did with the GP admin super user, we've applied a mask that only allows a user to view the last 4 digits. In addition, this user group needs to be able to view the date of birth. Now, let's look at the rules in BlueTalon that were applied to create this result. As the results showed, there is a deny rule on the credit card and a masking rule on the Social Security number fields. However, unlike the super user GP admin, there is no restricting rule associated with this group for date of birth. Therefore, our user Bob is allowed to view this field based on the allow read for the members table. However, even though the sensitive data was protected, Bob was still able to access all of the records in the table. Now we're going to show you how to use a filter in BlueTalon to limit the amount of data that a user or groups of users can see based on their access rights. Filters can be either static, which means a specific value for all, or dynamic. Values change based on user or other attributes. For this scenario, we're going to use a dynamic filter based on an attribute that uses the user ID, in our case Bob, to look up the assigned zip codes from a table. We are going to add a dynamic filter based on zip codes assigned to the user to filter the results. Again, we simply deploy the changes to the BlueTalon system, and the changes will be enforced on the next query. Now let's run the same count from the members table. This time, we'll see that we only get 42 records back, and this is based on Bob's access rights. As you can see, the values in the Social Security and credit card fields are still masked. However, now Bob only sees the records for the zip codes that he is assigned. Finally, let's look at how we can use BlueTalon to allow users to logically use private or sensitive data without revealing this data to the end user. We will demonstrate this by joining 2 tables using a sensitive column for which the end user is not allowed to see the values in the results. For this scenario, we're going to use Charlie so we can see the application of the rules from both the protect private data policy from the scenario we just ran with our user Bob and the deny allow join policy. Before we run these queries though, let's look quickly at the new rules assigned to Charlie in the deny allow join policy. We have added deny rules to the members ID field in both the members and the claims tables. Now let's look at the policies assigned to our user Charlie. We can see that Charlie is associated with both the deny allow join and the protect private data policies, so rules from both will be enforced. Now let's run the select queries and let's look at some results. We've applied the same rules on the private data fields for Social Security number and credit card for Charlie. But as we can see, we have also denied the ability to view the member ID field in the results. The member ID field is also denied in the results for the claims table. However, this deny is for viewing the results set and not the underlying data processing. Therefore, Charlie is still able to join the members table and the claims table together using the member ID field, even though he can't see values for member ID field in the results. As we can see, Charlie is able to join the claim ID and provider ID and data service fields from the claims table with the member data from the members table without unauthorized access to the members ID data. Last but not least, let's see how these transactions are actually captured by the BlueTalon audit function to provide a record of access to or the use of the personal and sensitive data. The BlueTalon audit function captures the following information about the access event: the time, the specific user that's trying to access the data, the groups the user is associated with, the data source being accessed, what event occurred, audit, policy, and policy equals rules applied, the IP address the command was issued from, the command type that was issued, the policies that were applied, and in addition to this, we'll also see the original query submitted by the user and the modified query submitted by BlueTalon based on the rules applied to the underlying data platform. Thanks for allowing us to show you how you can use BlueTalon to simplify the support of these three common challenges that we are faced with almost every day in our modern analytic data warehouses. As we saw, BlueTalon can limit the users, both super users and end users, ability to view private and sensitive data by using policies that deny or mask this information. BlueTalon can also limit the information that users can see based upon their roles and other attributes by using filters that ensure the user can only access the data the user is authorized to use. We also saw that BlueTalon can allow users to logically use private or sensitive data without revealing this information to the end user. In addition to making it easier to protect the data, we also showed how the BlueTalon audit function makes it easy to capture the data events to provide a record of access to and the use of the personal sensitive information. Again, I'd like to thank you for spending the time with us today to learn how BlueTalon can simplify and expand the data protection on the pivotal Greenplum data platform, at the same time as making the data more accessible to users without jeopardizing private or sensitive data. If you would like additional information, please contact us at greenplum@bluetalon.com. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you and have a nice day.